All right, good morning, everyone. We are going to get started. My name is Louis Lotito. I'm part of Superintendent Danielle DiMango's team. Before we begin, I just want to quickly talk about the interpretation that we have available today for families. So the meeting will be interpreted in both Spanish and in Chinese. I'm going to ask our lovely interpreters to please go ahead and read the phone number and PIN number in their language. So we can start with our Spanish interpreter.
Miss Maggie, yay!
Miss Maggie.
Thank you. Wait, we can't hear her. Can you hear her?
Oh, so Miss Maggie, I can't hear you. Try unmuting on Teams also. It sometimes links together.
Can you hear me?
No.
Yes.
Yep. Can you hear you now? Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that. Buenos días, tenemos interpretación en español. Para llamar, para interpretación, tenemos una línea de llamar. El número es 347-966-4114. También puede, la identificación es el número que está debajo, el 857-927-074. Pueden oprimir eso para interpretación en español. Gracias.
Thank you. And will Wing please read the information in Chinese?
OK， 大家好，如果你需要中文翻译的话，请你打347-966示意意思，然后按814-939-952 是我们电话会议的 ID。OK， thank you.
Thank you. Louis, now you're muted.
I'll be putting this information in the chat for those who have joined later, and we can go ahead and begin the presentation.
Thank you so much. I want to thank all of our pre-K center administration that is here. So, and Miss Maggie for her last minute translation willingness, because we did have a cancellation. I want to welcome Miss April and our other teacher supports. I see Lori here and Denise. Yes, hi, welcome. And you know, I do want to say one of the things that I love about the pre-K center is that it is a family. And, you know, many of our parents are joining the DOE for the first time. And I love that our pre-K centers can offer that family experience. But I did want to take this time today to introduce your extended family, which is the district office and the supports that we have for you as parents. And I wanted to also talk about how parent empowerment and engaging our parents, even at an early age, is very important to me. Some of the things that I will talk about today is the role that a parent plays, not just in the early childhood education world, but as we expand through the K-12 continuum. As you know, as parents, your children need you always, right? And we want to be there to support you in that work, to make sure that your child gets the best education that they can in District 25. So I am going to just do a brief introduction of the people and services that are available to you from our district office. Then I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about chronic absenteeism and how we want to start tackling that as a community together, starting with our youngest learners and setting really good habits. So they can, you know, understand the importance and the value of coming to school every day. And then I want to talk to you a little bit about the importance of parent empowerment and parent voice in our school communities. And then I want to open up the meeting to just any kind of questions and comments that you may have for me as your superintendent, things that you might want to see at your pre-K center, but also expectations that you have as your children continue their academic career in District 25. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Danielle DiMango, the very proud superintendent of District 25. I just had a wonderful visit a couple of weeks ago to the pre-K center. I love the new changes that SEA has made, especially to our Whitestone Center. It's just a beautiful place. I love, actually, it reminds me as you're walking in from our new front door of just like a college experience. And I think it's just great for our young learners to see the excitement as they approach their school every morning. I know that there was a beautiful opening, and a transition may have been a little bit difficult for some of our youngest learners, but rest assured, I know that as you left your children at the door, they may have been crying, but about 6 seconds later, they were smiling and happy to be there. I had a great opportunity to see that very quick transition. The staff and administration at the pre-K centers is just wonderful. I always say I judge, our schools as spaces that I would send my own children. And this is one of those places. So I want to thank everybody that's part of that. So my district office is very close to both of the pre-K centers. It's 30-48 Linden Place. You're always welcome to come here and visit us. But the best way to contact us, because we're in and out of the office a lot, we spend time at our 35 schools. But the best way to contact us is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can, actually, I wouldn't call 24 hours a day, but you can text, and you could call during the times that we're awake and leave a voicemail at 347-850-3048. We do have a 24-hour window by which we get back to you. You can always email us at contact@d25.nyc. You can visit our website to send a message, or you can message us on our social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram. Following our meeting, this PowerPoint will be available on our website that will have all of these links for you as well. Okay, next slide. So as you see, our District 25 vision statement talks about from many roots growing as one community. And this starts at the earliest of ages with our pre-K and our youngest learners. What I love so much about this vision statement is that it was created with administrators, teachers, students, and parents. And it is both what we believe in and expectations that we have for me, for our schools, for our students, and for our families. So we believe in building strong foundations at an early age. That is our strong roots, strong schools vision. We plant seeds as early as pre-K, and we continue to build on our students' knowledge and growth, both academically and socially and emotionally from the youngest of ages, hoping that they grow in our K-8 district, but in our K-12 model and beyond. We want the same, we have the same hopes and dreams that you have for your children. But from many roots growing as one community, as you see, the roots of our trees are all of our schools. And we work together to learn and grow from each other. But that statement from many roots growing as one community also means that we come from many different places, many different spaces, many different countries. We have many different cultures, many different values, and we respect and learn from one another, and we grow together to be the strong community that we are. My expectation and your expectation for me should be that we know and value who you are as families. And that includes your cultures and the things that you believe in, and that we can share them and use them to help enhance your child's learning experience. We believe in student voice and empowering our students to talk about what they're learning, why they're learning it, and to give us advice and supports in how to do that better. That's something I do in every school that I visit. Even our earliest of learners, I spend time talking to them about the school experience. What are some of the things that they like? And what are some of the things that we can do better? We believe in embracing differences. Everyone comes to the table who is different, and we want to learn and grow from each other. And part of that is recognizing different people and different perspectives, and providing equity and access and opportunity for all of our learners. I'm very proud of our vision. Next statement, or next slide. So I wanted to take some time to introduce you to our new team at the district office. You will see under everyone's name is a website, is an email address for you to contact. So as you see, I am Danielle DiMango, our community superintendent. We have Dr. Michael D'Antona. He is our deputy superintendent. Together, we work to support and supervise all the things that are happening across our district. We have Beverly Mitchell. She is our executive director of school supports and operations. Beverly really supports our district in terms of facilities, student services, and community affairs. She also supervises the development of our district-wide leadership pipeline. So we have the best principals and assistant principals for our schools that we can. Then we have Louis Latito. He is our field support liaison. He works with school leaders, staff, district team, and central offices to make sure that there is a constant flow of information and that we are all growing and learning together as a community, and that we have the best resources and access for all of our learners. He also maintains the social media website and is the person that you will most likely be in communication with if you have questions or concerns through Twitter, Facebook, or any other communication ways that are not via phone. So we have specialists that we call instructional leads that go into our schools and support the learning needs of our schools. And many of them have a specific focus on early childhood. And that is Debbie Winkler, Anna Arrigo, Angelique Hewitt, and Melinda Willens. Next slide. We also have people who specialize in specific learning for our schools. Michelle Lee supports our multilingual learners and the teachers who support our students that speak languages other than English. She helps with our dual language and other bilingual programs. But she also supports my vision of, if you are a teacher in District 25, you are a teacher that supports the multiple languages that make up the diversity of our district. And she is a specialist in those areas. We have Arifa Khan and Danielle Bergman, who work specifically on academic interventions for our early childhood teachers, which includes the pre-K center. And Diana Stein, who supports school building leaders in schools in high quality physical education programs, as well as health and wellness. Next slide. We have a lot in the chat. Okay. We have Tracy Vaughn, who works with schools around academic policy. Those are all of the things that focus on making sure our students have their right services, grading policies, and understanding of assessment data. We also have Nathan Yakubov, who is our administrator for special education. We always say that supports for special education should start at the school level, but if parents feel that they are not getting the information and support that they need, they can contact Nathan at the email address below. And the same for Richard Braun. He is our L compliance and performance. Am I coming through good? Okay. He is our L compliance and performance specialist who can support schools and families with understanding the supports of our students and families that speak languages other than English. We also have Greg Yankovich. He is our student support manager. He supports attendance, crisis and de-escalation for our for both schools and students who are struggling in terms of behavioral crisis, culture, and climate at the school level, and gives professional learning to our school counselors across our district. Okay, we have the largest team and I'm very excited. We have Wing Yi Chung, and Wing is actually translating for our families today. Thank you so much, Wing. She is our school social worker. She provides support to our school practitioners in terms of social emotional learning, mental health and wellness, but she also supports families with outreach to so many different community-based organizations that can provide supports for health and wellness. She is a resource to any parent who may be struggling in need of mental health and wellness supports. As a parent, I say this all the time, it is really important that you feel that you have connections to those resources. They are very hard to find, but they are out there. And Wingy is a person who can help you make those connections that you need. Then we have Esther Maludo. She is our family leadership coordinator. I always say to parents, when you want to speak to the superintendent, because I am in and out of my office at schools so often, please ask to speak to Esther. When you speak to Esther, you are speaking to me. She makes sure she will find me anywhere I am. She will get the information that you need and she will call you back within that day. That's who Esther is. So please feel free, if you have any questions or concerns, to reach out to Esther. Esther also is fluent in Spanish, and she would be able to help support you with anything that you need at the district level. We then have Marissa Martin. She's our community coordinator. She does outreach and communication to all of our community members, which include our local elected officials, and she works with Lewis around communications and social media platforms. And Janet Ayala Capo is my administrative assistant. She would be the person who answers the phone when you call the office. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before I go on, just in terms of outreach to our office? Okay. Am I going, Miss Maggie, am I speaking to, I'm good? Okay. Wing, I'm good? Okay, perfect. Okay, so the next piece that I want to talk to parents about that is something of real importance to me, and we can actually see differences in student outcomes that start as early as pre-kindergarten. And I can't say enough to you. All right, hold on just 1 second. Can you call Judy, because they're calling me like crazy? 2:37. Yeah. I'm sorry. So I can't say enough how important it is that we as families start instilling in our students the importance of coming to school every day. Next slide. So the federal government has identified a new crisis in public education, and it is called chronic absenteeism. In its first report on the subject in 2013 and 14, it found that 13% of the student population, which is 1 in 8 students, were chronically absent. Since then, it has increased. And the Department of Education of the US Department of Education is calling this a hidden educational crisis. So in New York, the state education department identifies chronic absenteeism as missing 10% of school, or 18 days or more per year in a 180-day school year. So that's about 2 days per month. This includes both excused and unexcused absences. And I think parents sometimes think that if your child's sick and you give in a sick note, that is that doesn't count on their absences, but it does. So I think it's very important for families to know that even if your child has an excused absence, they're still marked absent. And therefore, if they are absent more than 2 days a year, they are listed as chronically absent. The idea of chronic absenteeism, let me just go back really quick, is really about the connection between students who are missing a significant amount of school days, as well, and how missed instructional time connects to student learning and performance. Okay, next slide. So these are just some statements that I want you to think about. We don't have to answer them together, but just think about the following three statements. So absenteeism in the first month of school can predict poor attendance throughout the school year. Half the students who miss 2 to 4 days in September go on to miss nearly a month of school by the end of the school year. So that's the first. The second, by 6th grade, chronic absence becomes the leading indicator that a student will drop out of high school. And statement 3, students who miss 18 or more days of school, that's 2 days a month, starting in kindergarten, are less likely to learn to read by 3rd grade and graduate from high school. So next slide. So all of these statements are true. And I think it's funny that, you know, as parents, we're not thinking when we have a pre-K child all the way through 6th grade. But it's really important for us to know that if we don't start our students off at the earliest of age, recognizing the values of coming to school, some of the implications of that can lead to some really serious academic and educational issues, such as by 6th grade, being absent from school is the lead predictor that a student may not be able to finish high school. Next slide. So what does chronic absenteeism look like across the country? More than 8 million students are missing so many days of school that they're academically at risk. Students who are absent 2 or more days per month during the school year are chronically absent, and students who are chronically absent every year from kindergarten to grade 8, when they are in grade 8, would miss what is equivalent to 1 year of school. So the current reality, in order for us as a district to build strong foundations in our beliefs of our vision, it's extremely important that we work together between parents and the school to maintain positive attendance rates. And you know what, parents, you know, I remember when my kids were going to pre-K, I would say things like, oh, they could stay home today, they need a day to rest. But if I knew this, what I knew when my kids were in pre-K, I would have really thought a little bit differently about making sure that they're in school as many days as possible, because I know that you spend so much time in the pre-K centers, but when I am in the classrooms, these kids are learning. They're learning so much. They're learning to read. They're learning to write. They're learning to collaborate with each other. They're learning math. So we want to make sure that every day your children have access to the endless possibilities that are happening at the pre-K center. We believe in District 25 that being present in school is a priority and attending school matters. We currently, in pre-K to 8, and that includes you guys, have 4,218 students who have been absent for 10% or more of the school year already. And we're trying to make sure that we disrupt that and interrupt that so our parents have the best, our students have the best learning opportunities. Okay, go ahead. So this is chronic absenteeism across our district by student subgroup. And we are connected to city, borough, and the district. The district is in gray. We are really excited that we are lower than the district-wide average in many of our subgroups, except for our Black and Hispanic subgroups. So it is one of the things that I am working really hard as your superintendent to make sure that we're reaching out to the community as a whole, but then different communities, because I think it's important that we see, if we talk about the impact that chronic absenteeism has on our learners, that we're also targeting families that may need supports in making sure that their students are on time for school. Okay, so why it matters in early childhood. And these are you as parents right now, supporting our youngest learners that are entering the school system. So showing up every day is important to your child's success. Missing 10% of school, which is only 1 or 2 days every few weeks, makes it harder for children to gain early reading and math skills, build relationships, and develop those good attendance habits that they will take with them through 12th grade and beyond. High quality preschool and kindergarten has many benefits. The routines your child develops continue throughout school, and make the most of early grades by encouraging your child to attend every day. Okay, so why it matters. And this is some interesting data. If children don't show up for school regularly, they will miss out on fundamental reading and math skills and the chance to build good habits that will carry them into college and career. So they did a national study of who can read on grade level after 3rd grade. So of kids with good attendance in kindergarten and first, which means missed 9 or fewer days, 64% of those students nationally were able to read on grade level. If you look at kids with at-risk attendance, meaning they missed more than 9 days both years, that drops from 64% to 43% of the students' ability to read by 3rd grade. Kids who are chronically absent in kindergarten and first, meaning they miss 18 more days a year, kids who are chronically absent in kindergarten or 1st grade, meaning they missed 18 or more days a year, that drops to 41%. And kids who are chronically absent in kindergarten and first, students' ability to read by 3rd grade goes to 17%. So why it matters? Students should miss no more than 9 days of school each year to stay engaged, successful, and on track to graduation. Frequent absence can be a sign that a student is losing interest in school, and that's something we want to tackle right away. We want to make sure that we provide the most engaging experiences for all our learners. Or if they're struggling with schoolwork or dealing with a bully or facing some other difficulty, we want to make sure that every child feels warm, walks into a warm and welcoming environment, and has the opportunity to feel successful every day. What I said about 6th grade is it's one of the 3 signs that a student may drop out of high school. And by 9th grade, attendance is a better predictor of graduation than 8th grade test scores. So why we need to continue focusing on attendance. Students who are chronically absent perform 26% lower on the ELA assessment when compared to those who are not chronically absent. Students who are chronically absent performed over 36% lower on math assessment when compared to non-chronically absent peers. In District 25, all of our schools have established what we call CASE teams, which are culture, attendance, and social emotional teams. And the purpose of these teams is to monitor daily attendance to support our families so that students are present on a daily basis. So resources for you families. We talked about the case teams, you can flip. So different links from New York State that you can log into to help battle chronic absenteeism. The first is about building your child's confidence, helping children gain confidence and building coping skills. We know sometimes children can struggle because they feel anxious coming to school. They may feel uncomfortable being in new situations or feel uncertain about their ability to get along with others. This is a resource for you to use as a parent to help support your child with confidence. Next slide. Same about keeping your child on track for schoolwork, even at early age, about organizing and ways to manage stress when you become frustrated, looking at ways and signs for families to know when their child is avoiding coming to school, right? Like the age-old, I have a stomach ache. The goal around supporting children learning is to provide them with the support they need to feel good about learning and good about themselves. And it's really important, parents, that if you see these behaviors in your child, that you let the school know, because we want to be able to support them and make it a warm and welcoming place for them to not feel anxious about coming to school every day. And I know the Pre-K Center has done a tremendous job with our youngest learners re-entering school. But if those behaviors are still happening, just make sure that the school is aware of it. Okay, next slide. Keeping your child healthy, the effects of health on school attendance. We always say that children should not come to school when they're sick, right? There are times when they have typical childhood illnesses. However, if a child is able to come to school and we say that they haven't had a fever for 24 hours, they haven't vomited in 24 hours, they can come to school. And so we should encourage, when our children are well or are getting better from a childhood illness, that we make sure that they're coming back to school so they can re-enter effectively. Our vision is every student, every day. We want to see your children. We want to see your learners. We want to make sure that we're providing them with what they need to be successful and that they have fun in school. So this is another link to resources that come from the Department of Education that talk about social, emotional, and academic supports that students will need to thrive, learn, and be happy. Next slide.
That's the last slide.
That's
for
it.
comments.
Okay. Okay. So, so you could go back to the introductory slide, Marissa. So at this time, one of the things that I would like to do is open up the conversation for parents that have any questions whatsoever for me as your superintendent, things that you might want to see happening at the pre-K center that I can maybe help support. What are some of the things that you like that are happening at the pre-K center? What areas do we need to strengthen? So is there any parents that have any questions or would like to make statements today? Louis, will they be able to unmute themselves?
They will be able to. We did
Okay.
receive one question in the registration, and it was about after-school programs. So do you want to talk a little bit about pre-K after-school programs?
Yeah, so April, I don't know if that's something that you have discussed, at the school community in terms of availability for after-school programs. I do know that many of the community-based organizations don't support pre-Ks. We do have, once they get to kindergarten, we're able to include them in that. But I don't believe that, and we can continue looking, but I don't believe that the after-school programs support pre-K. And that includes even at the school level. Go ahead, April.
Yes, thank you. So we have spoken to a couple of parents that asked about different programs. There are some programs in the neighborhoods that some children do go to. Of course, we don't have recommendations of programs, but what we have done in the past is we do share that information with anyone that asks them. And then we do let our families know that they can go visit these centers. But yes, it is hard to find an organization that is willing to come into a pre-K center to run an after-school program within the school. So if there are any families that want us to share any of that information, then we can certainly share the information that we do have that other children go to.
Okay.
I do see, do you want me to answer in the chat also, or?
Yeah, I mean, is there a question for you in the chat or for me?
Okay, so we about potty training. So we do work along with families as far as potty training goes. And we usually try to get on the same schedule. The teacher shares with the families share with the teachers and the paraprofessionals what works. Sometimes there is a little bit of a hump to get over when children do come into the school and they might be fully potty trained at home, but now they're in a different setting, they're in a different environment. And sometimes, like I see what it says in the chat, like sometimes there's a little anxiety and fear about that when they're coming into school. So it is something that we will work with. And the person in the chat, I know it just says iPhone, but definitely link up with your child's teacher and paraprofessional, and they can work together with you. And they could also reach out to the site coordinator, and we'll definitely make sure that the program that's happening here supports your child at home as well and helps them kind of ease that anxiety and fear. But sometimes that's part of the natural process where they are adjusting to this, and it's still a little early on. So we'll certainly work together on that.
Thank you, Miss April. I also see a question about teaching artists. So I don't know, Miss April, if you've had opportunities for teaching artists. I know that you already do have art and music included in your everyday classroom. I can say to families that is something that Miss April and I can work on. Our local elected officials have been very generous in supporting us with teaching artists and other community-based art and music organizations that can come and share their experiences with our schools. I don't know if you have planned anything, but if not, it is something that we will work on together to ensure our students have those experiences.
Definitely, thank you. And we do bring certain organizations and certain visitors into school. So it's great to know when families are interested in certain areas, and that's something we'll work on together.
Yep, and I have a lot of recommendations that we can go over to make sure that the pre-K centers are connected to the organizations that deal with our other K-8 schools. So thank you for that. Yes. So the question is around sicknesses going viral. We do make parents aware, not necessarily of ear infections, but if there is a stomach virus that seems to be going through the school or the flu that seems to be going through the school, they absolutely will send notification, not for just 1 or 2 students, but if it is something that is pervasive, you will receive that information from Miss April, just around making sure to watch out for some of the symptoms of some of these illnesses. I would like teachers to be able to enter the bathrooms. So, Miss April, I don't know if you, I don't really know the pre-K legalities of that, of entering the bathroom.
So right now, children are accompanied to go to the bathroom because a lot of children need support. So we usually have a paraprofessional standing by the door if children need assistance. We can talk a little bit more about, there is cleaning throughout the day because our children are in the bathrooms throughout the day. So there is cleaning that goes on throughout the day, but I can certainly link up with Miss Suazo to discuss more of those procedures as well.
Perfect.
But currently it's not that they go in and start cleaning the bathroom. We do, our custodian does go in and clean and check throughout the day to make sure that it is tidy.
Okay, any other questions? So one of the things that, there's a new one. That's no, I see the answer to your question.
If you send
Mr. Paco is now.
We do not share it amongst them. We have Pampers sent in by parents as well as Pampers that we have within the bathrooms if needed.
And I see Kathy asked the question about the play sessions, the gym sessions. They're asking about those activities. So I think Miss Maggie and Miss April, you can send home to parents a list of the activities that the students do around movement. And that would include walks, anything that kids do throughout the day, to let them know about what that movement throughout the day looks like.
Thank you. We'll share that information.
Miss McCluskey, I would definitely want to go walk around the school because it is so nice. I would go out, front and run around in that grass. Okay. So, one of the things that I want to say to the parents today is you're really lucky. You have such a great administration and great teacher leaders that can support any of your questions or concerns that you have. I wanted to reach out to you to really just stress to you, one of the things that, I'll always say is I'm a parent first. I'm an educator. I love what I do. I love supporting our students and families in District 25, but I'm a parent first. And I never felt welcome in my children's school. Now they're 19 and 17. So one of the things that I have committed to is making sure that our parents feel comfortable being in school, asking questions. I'm a superintendent, and there were times that I would go into school nervous to ask questions about my children. And I remember saying, why do we feel this way? So I wanted to start as early as now, really talking to you guys about, in District 25, we have a culture of parent engagement. We have a culture of collaboration. And I want you as parents to always feel that you can connect with your school for anything. There is no question that you have that's about your kids that you shouldn't feel comfortable asking and that we shouldn't be able to answer. So I wanted to meet with the parents of our youngest learners today to say we want you to start as early as now, being involved in your child's career academically, being a part of the community. And if you're like me, who has to work all the time, where are those spaces that you can feel comfortable being in a school, be it virtually or writing notes or just anything? Is the school doing everything that they can to make sure that information about your children are at your fingertips? It is very important to me. And it is why I wanted to meet with our pre-K parents to start that conversation, which is why I wanted to start with our pre-K parents about chronic absenteeism. Bring your kids to school every day. We want to see them. We want to educate them. We want to play with them. So make sure that they are there every day. And those days where they want to stay home, say no. Talk about the value of school. Talk about how great school is and how much they'll learn on that day. Make sure they're here with us so we can show them all of the amazing learning activities that we have available in our pre-K center. And then just continue that work with them. Together, talk about the value of being in school every day. So,
we have a really nice comment from Kathy.
yes,
in the
Kathy,
chat.
thank you. Aw, I love that.
Kathy just is saying how amazing the teachers are and how they also help parents with separating from their children, which is great.
Yep. I tell this story all the time. When I was in pre-K, and I'll never forget it, we had this thing called the lollipop tree, and we would go out every day. I mean, we can't do it now because there's, sugar is not good for us, but I would go outside every day and we would pick lollipops from the tree. And for so many years, I thought that lollipops grew on trees. I mean, maybe until first grade, but I just remember the wonder and excitement of that. And when I first became a superintendent, one of the things that I shared with my principals was about lollipop moments. And it's about, just things that happen in your life and in your career that make you feel amazing about the world. And that is a memory. So I'm 50 years old. That is a memory that I have in pre-K. So I want to let you know that this time is really important for your kids. It's important that everyone at our pre-K centers know your kids well, share that information. And I wish all of you a year of lollipop moments this year. Once again, I do want to thank Miss April, Miss Maggie, and all the teachers and staff at the pre-K center for making our pre-K center a model for the city, and to let our parents know that we are here with any questions or concerns that you may have.
Thank you so much, Superintendent DiMango, and thank you to our families and our staff for joining us today. And as you know, always reach out if you need anything.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.